Hi everyone. So in today's class we are going to learn about if conditions. So in the first class we learn about data types and variables in Python. The different data types like integers, floats, and strings, and we learned how to convert another data type into another one. For example, how we convert integers into string into like strings to integer, integer to float, float to integers. And also we learn about variables. In the second class, we learn about arithmetic operations and the order. In the third class, we learn about comparison operators, bitwise operations, and shift operations. So in the fourth class, we are going to learn about if conditions. So if you still didn't watch previous videos, please complete those videos first. Otherwise, you won't understand these parts because the data type knowledge is important for this lesson. Okay, so before I start if condition, first we will do these two questions. Okay, so here the question is, write a Python program to find the average of two numbers. Okay, so in the previous classes we learned about basics, right? Like how to print, the comparison operators, and also using those knowledge. Now actually you can develop a Python program for this question. So we have two variables. So the first variable is x. X is equals to 5, or 5 is assigned to x. So the second variable, sorry, x is 10, right? X is 10, y is 5. So value 5 is assigned to y. So we have to find the average of two numbers. Okay, so before you start the question, first you think like how you find the average of two numbers? What is the normal procedure? So if we have two numbers, first we add these two numbers, right? Is it? First we add these two numbers and we divide by 2. It's really simple, right? Okay, now we will do the question. So now I'll open a new Python file, and now I'll type the command here. Okay, so the first variable is x is equals to 10, right? The second variable is y is equals to 5. Okay, so here first you can take a variable. I'll take a variable called average. It's a new variable. We are going to find average, right? The variable is x plus y divided by 2, and I'll print the average. Print here. So if you want to put a message with a variable, you can do like this. Open a quotation and you write a message. For example, the average of x and y is, and close the quotation and put the comma, average, and you mention the variable. Okay, now if you do like this, what could be the output? Okay, so here the output is, so here the output is not 7.5. Okay, the reason is, so we have learned the order, right? The order. So here x is 10 plus y is 5 divided by 2. So in the order, first what we do then? So first we divide 5 by 2, right? Then 10 plus 5 by 2 is 2.5, 12.5. The answer is wrong. Did you understand? So now I'll run this. Now if you run this, you will get 12.5. Did you understand the reason? The reason is this division. Okay, so the first step, we have to add these two numbers, right? Then what you can do, you can use brackets. This is the first order, right? So the first order is, first we simplify inside the bracket. Okay, now x is 10, y is 5, 10 plus y is 15, 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Now you get 7.5. It's okay, right? It's really simple. Okay, now the second question here. The second question, write a Python program to find the average of two user input numbers. Okay, so in this question, two numbers are already defined, right? So these two numbers are already defined. So we know what is x and what is y. Okay, now what we are going to do is, we are going to take the numbers from the user, and we are going to find the average. Okay, so this is how we do. So first, you take a variable. For example, I'll take the variable as num1. Okay, num1 is equals to, so in Python we have learned uh, few inbuilt functions, right? Like print, the print function. So if we use print function, it will print the data, right? All the values. So likewise, if you want to take a input from the user, you can use this input function. So in the input function, you put a message like this, any message. You can use any kind of message. So now I'll put like this, enter number 1, and I'll close the quotation and I'll close the brackets. Now I'll take another number from the user, number 2 equals input, enter number 2. Okay, so first, before we find the average, first we'll find the total of these two numbers. Okay, so first I'll find the total. So I'll take another variable. The total is equals to num1 plus num2. Okay, num1 plus num2. So after that, I'll print the total is, so you put any message like total of given two numbers, total of two user inputs, so any message. So simply I'll put total is uh, and I'll put the variable total. Okay, now if you run this, it will ask you to enter two numbers. Okay, so it's like this. Did you understand? So this is the code. So now I'll enter 20. So after that, I'll enter 10. Okay, now you tell me 20 plus 10 how much? 20 plus 10 is 30, right? But the output will be 2010. Here, the total is 2010. Now I'll explain the reason. So the reason is this input function. So this input function in Python always takes values as strings. Did you understand? So always takes value as string. So in the first class, we learned about string concatenation, right? Okay. Now, if you input uh, 24 num1, 20 is not an integer, it's a string. It's like this. Do you understand? So num2, again, it's 10. Okay. It's a string. It's not an integer. Now here what happens? So it's like this. 20 plus 10. So these two are string. So this is string concatenation. So we take these two strings together, 20 and 10. Still it's a string. Is it clear? Okay. Okay. Now we'll clarify this. Now I'll print the data type of these three variables. Print type num1 and print type num2 print type total. Okay, now I'll print the data type of these three as well. I'll run it again. I'll input the same 20, 10. Here, still these three variables are strings. Is it clear? Okay. So in Python, this input function always takes values as string. Okay. So now we can't perform like this now. So first we have to convert these strings into integers, right? So what you can do, you can use int command. So in the first class, we learned, right, int function, int. So after the int, you open a bracket and you close this bracket. Okay, again int, you open the bracket and you close it. Okay, now I run this. Now if you run this, now I'll enter same two numbers, 20, 10. Here, did you understand? Enter number 1 is 20, enter number 2 is 10, the total is 30. The data type of num1, it's an integer, num2 also integer, total also integer. It's clear, right? Okay, this is how we do. So if we use the input function, so Python always takes inputs as strings, then you convert those strings into integer. Otherwise you can't do any kind of arithmetic operations. Okay. Okay, this part is done, right? Now you can do like this also. First what you do, you take the inputs. When you add these two, you can convert into integer. Okay, using same int function. Okay, int. Okay, the same thing. Okay, now I'll run the same. Num1 is 20, num2 is 10. Here, now you understand the difference of these two. Enter number 1 20, enter number 2 10, the total is 30. The data type of these three variables are integer. Enter number 1 20, enter number 2 10, the total is 30, but the data type of num1 and num2 are strings. Is it clear? The reason is, so we have learned this in the first class. So that's why I told you to watch the first class. So here what happens is, first we input 20, right? It's a string. So we didn't convert this string into integer. No? 10 also string. So we converted this 20 into integer, but this integer for only for this line. Did you understand? So after this conversion, we didn't assign this 20 value for another variable. No? We didn't actually we didn't assign this 20 for another variable, right? So we converted this 20 and 10 into integers, and we add the total. We assign to the total of these two, we assign to a variable called total. It's 30. Now this is integer. Okay, the total is integer, but these two variables are strings. Is it clear? Okay, so here also we got 30, the second code also we got 30, but you understand the difference between the first code and the second. So if you put int before the input command, it converts the string into integer and it assigns 20 into num1. Did you understand? So that's why in this code we got the type as integer. Okay. Okay, right. So normally, actually, we don't follow this method. Okay, like for example, if you are inputting a number, just put in function before the input. Okay, it's really easy. Okay, so this is the easiest method. So I explained this line because in exams, like we can't predict how they will give questions. Okay, so still it works. Did you understand? So still it works, but the data type is different. The data type of num2 and num1 in previous code it was integers. So here uh, the data types are strings. Okay, so this is our first one. I'll type it again. 20, 10 here. The total is 30. It's num1 integer, num2 also integer, num3, sorry, the total is also integer. Okay. While you're watching this video, just practice these codes and and the and write these codes in your book as well. The reason is for your A level ICT paper, you won't get a practical paper, right? It's a written paper. So you have to practice these codes again and again, okay, by writing. Okay, so the actual question is write a Python program to find the average of two user inputs, right? So here what we do, now I take the variable as average, and here what we do, first we add these two and we divide by 2, right? So I'll change the message as well. The average is, and the variable also I'll change average. Now I'll run it. So this is your original question, that to find average of two user inputs. 20, 10, it's 15.0. So here now you check, 20 is an integer, 10 is an integer, the average is 15.0. Okay, 20 plus 10 is 30, 30 divided by 2 is 50, right? Sorry, it's 15. But in the first class we learned, can you remember, division always provides a float value. So even the answer is 15, Python print the value as 15.0. So 15.0 is a float. So that's why we got the data type as float. Okay. This is the answer for the second question. Okay. Okay. Now we will do some few questions. I'll take this question. So the question is, find the area of circle where radius where the radius is like 34 20. So you can take any number for radius. Okay, now you tell me how we find the area of a circle. This is a circle and this is the radius, right? This is 34. The equation is 5r squared, right? You just apply this, okay, 34. Okay, we'll do like this. Find the area of a circle where the radius is input by the user. Okay, so here the radius is input by the user. So first you get the input, sorry, first you get the radius from the user. After that, you calculate the area. Okay, so first what you do, you take the radius, right? So then I'll take the variable as radius is equals to int. Okay, int. So here you can use int or float. The reason is the radius can be a float number, right? For example, like 34.2. Okay, so I'll use float. So even if you use float, it's fine. So even if you input a third, if you input an integer like 34, it takes as 34.0. 34 and 34.0 has, so these two numbers have the same value. So this one it's a float, the second one it's an integer. That's the difference, but the value is equal. Okay, so I'll take the input as float. Input, you put the input function and you enter message like enter, sorry, you type the message enter radius, radius. Okay, now you tell me what is the equation to find the area of a circle? 5r squared, right? So I'll take a variable. The variable is area. Now area is equals to, so we know 5 is equals to 22.7, right? Sorry, 22 divided by 7. Okay, so this is 5 and 5 into, so this is multiplication, is it? 5r squared means this multiplication, right? So what is r? Now r is radius. Did you understand? R is radius. Radius again. So r squared means radius into radius. Did you understand? Radius, it's radius into radius. So I'll put radius. Now you can print the message. Print the radius. Print the area the circle is and the variable area. Okay. Now I'll run. Now I'll enter 7 for radius. The area of the circle is 154. It's correct, right? So this is the equation. So 5 is equals to 22 divided by 7. So r is 7 into 7. So we can cut these two. So 22 into 7 is 22 into 7 is 154. But the answer is 154.0. The reason is we have a division. Did you understand? So division always provides a float value. Okay, so it's 154.0. Okay, so you mark this question as well. Okay, now we will do another simple question. The question is find the area of a square where uh, not the square, so I'll take as rectangle. Rectangle where length and the where length and width entered by the user. Okay, find the area of a rectangle where length and the width entered by the user. Okay, so first what we do, so first we take the inputs from the user, right? So first I'll take the length. This is the variable length is equals to again, it's better to use float. So you can use integers as well. It's totally fine. But if you take a rectangle, so the length can be like 10.5 centimeters, right? It's possible. Did you understand? So you can do like this. Okay, it's better to use float. So even so, as I already explained, so even if you input an integer, it's totally fine. So if you input 10, it takes the value as 10.0, but it's fine. The reason is 10 and 10.0 have the same value. Okay, so float, and you take the input using input function, input, enter, enter length. Okay, simple message. Now you input the width, width. Okay, so what is the equation to find the area of a rectangle? We multiply length into width, right? So here the area is equals to length length into width, and you print the area of the rectangle is, put a comma, and you mention the variable area. Okay, think you missed this comma. Okay, now we'll see what is the output here. You can't run it, invalid syntax. Okay, so perhaps you forget a comma. Did you understand? Here after the message, when you are defining a variable, you put the comma. I'll save it and I'll run it again. For length I'll take like 12.5, and for width I'll take like 5. So here the area of the rectangle is 62.5. Okay, now you write a Python. Now you pause this video and you write a Python program to find the perimeter of this rectangle. Now you write the pause this video and you write the Python program to find the perimeter of this rectangle. Okay, guys, then I hope you all wrote the Python program for the question. Now I'll write the code. Okay, again the same thing, right? I'll copy this code and I'll paste it here. Okay, so this is area now. So after the area, so just it print the, we'll do like this. So after the area, we'll find the perimeter. Okay. For the perimeter, I'll take the variable as p. Okay. So this is, so you can take any variable name. So I'll take the a variable name as p. Okay. So what is the equation? We add these four, right? So it's like this: length into twice and width into twice. Is it? So the equation is length into 2 plus length into 2 plus width into 2. Okay. Okay. I'll paste the message. It's on the area now. Perimeter of the rectangle is, and I'll put p. Okay. So if you take this equation, the equation is fine, right? Okay. So even if you take the order, it's plus, sorry, it's inside the bracket, and power and addition, sorry, the integer division, multiplication, and the remainder. So here first we do multiplication, right? So after that only plus. Length into twice, width into twice. So after that add these two. I'll save this and I'll run it again. Enter length. Okay, for the length I'll input 12.5. For width I'll input 5. So here area of the rectangle is 62.5. Perimeter of the rectangle is 35.0. So here also we got 35.0. So the reason is one value is float. Did you understand? So 12.5. So 12.5 into 2, how much? It's 25. 5 into 2 is 10. But the reason is one value is float, no? So here it's 25, but one value is float, right? Then the answer will be float. Then 25.0 plus 10 is 35.0. Okay. Okay, guys. So in the next video, we'll learn about if conditions. Actually, this knowledge is really important. Like how you get the inputs from the user and how you convert those inputs into another data type, and how you perform these operations. Okay, so up to here we actually learn the basics, right? The very basics of Python program. So in the next class, or in the next video, I will explain if condition, and then we'll learn while loops, for loops. After that, we'll move to arrays, different kind of arrays.